At the home of late Basiru Barrow, a feast is being prepared by a member of the family he left behind 25 years ago. Barrow and 13 others were executed by former President Yahya Jammeh for allegedly planning a coup. His body, like many other Gambians, was never recovered. Since his death, Barrow's widow is finding it hard to find closure.
I know me. Personally, I will not forgive anybody. If they come to me, I will tell them to ask Basiru for forgiveness. Go to Basiru. The hardship I face, I will leave that to God. God will judge everything, but me, I cannot forget.
You shall tell the Commission about the atmosphere.
That emotion is shared by others who also lost loved ones. For 2.5 years, Sankariabo and hundreds of other surviving victims and their families testified before a Truth Commission, detailing the atrocities committed by the regime. The testimonies, including those of members of a hit squad, led to the discovery of mass graves and the grim task of exhuming the remains.
I will never forget.
Former teacher Bach Sambajalo lived through 14 months of humiliating detention and torture that left him scarred for life.
The worst experience that I had was when both hands and legs were tied on a wooden armchair. You cannot move. You cannot breathe. That time, that place, that pain was continuous. And they will come, throw cold water on your skin and continue electrocuting you on your body till you get fainted.
TRRC.
The painstaking work of the Commission was led by former advisor to the United Nations Secretary General. Lamin Sisse says the government will have to implement the Commission's recommendations to help the victims to move on.
What's the alternative? You do nothing? 22 years of atrocities, the slaughter of innocent civilians, the witch hunting thing that led them to the death of over 30, 40 people, the massive torture that really is happening in the area, that we forget about all that and then just sweep it under the carpet and then move on? No, I don't think the government would do that either.
Many victims say they hope the government will have the courage to do that, but they won't bet on it.
The Truth and Reconciliation Commission is expected to recommend the prosecution of the perpetrators of serious crimes and reparation for the victims. The government has already set aside $1 million as compensation for victims, with a promise of another $1 million to come. Gambians and activists will be watching closely to see what the reaction of the government of President Adama Barrow will be to the recommendations of the Commission.
But with the Gambia preparing for a presidential election in early December, victims like Sankariabo may have to wait a bit longer for justice to be served on people she vowed never to forgive. Until then, she will continue to bear the burden of her anger and the pain of losing a husband she said meant the world to her. Ahmed, Idris, Jazeera, Banjul.